Welcome to Week 12 in the NFL, and also welcome to Taking Action. I'm Chris Colombo, and this is Taking Action. Week 11, we're going to review. My main pick stood up again, and we're going to review other games and other situations, as well as give you our picks for Week 12. And we're going to do comments and rebuttals for the comments, which you seem to like. Thank you. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Taking Action. I'm Chris Colombo. This is Anthony Conover. As usual, White Hale is the best stats man in the business, not the best handicapper yet. We're going to go over our Week 11 picks, rebuttals of some of the teams, some interesting things that we're going to say. Also, we're going to do comments. Stick around for comments. A lot of your questions and a lot of things about the show will be answered. There were some very good comments. Okay, Ant, let's go.
All right, so Week 11, obviously your main pick stood up once again. Vikings covered with the 2.5. They lost by 1 in the game, but that's not what matters. It's the 2.5 that does.
Okay, it's a situation that they're so worried about helmet to helmet. When Dobbs fouled with that ball, that was a helmet to helmet hit.
Kareem Jackson is the person who had the hit on him. Suspended 4 games by the NFL. I believe it was yesterday. So no flag on the play. But he got suspended for 4 games. Obviously, it resulted, like you said, in a fumble by Dobbs, which led to points for the Broncos.
3 points.
So, I mean, you lose by 1.
Wasn't for the Broncos defense, it could have been 7. We could have lost the game, but it was an unnecessary 3, an unnecessary 7. Never mind the switch of momentum in the game, number 1. Number 2, that the refs gave him a bad call. Number 3, Dobbs had to go into the blue tent.
Yeah, I mean,
so somebody must have made him go in the blue tent, and that's usually by referees.
Yeah, they have the independent neurotrauma doctor on the sidelines now looking.
And he took a shot.
He got lit up.
Somebody could have got hurt. They don't suspend people for 4 games for nothing. It was a head-to-head. He was targeting, and he went for him.
I mean, yeah, I believe because I believe Kareem Jackson is the same one. Remember, way back when the Broncos played the Commanders. And we were on that game.
Yes.
He was the one that helmet to helmet in the end zone. It turned the momentum, and the Commanders came back and ended up winning that game. That's the same player. So he's I mean, listen, I'm not calling somebody a dirty player, obviously, but it's a history. It's a history. So that's why.
The point of the matter is, it's happened before. But the point is that it could have changed the outcome of the game.
Yeah.
Number 1. Number 2, a player could have got hurt. Number 3, it was flagrant. Number 4, everybody saw it. Number 5, he had to go and be evaluated.
Yeah.
Number 6, it could end a career.
I mean, yeah, he got lit up.
Okay, so we just squeaked that one by, but that's one. If they scored a touchdown, we would not have squeaked by.
No.
And they shouldn't have had the 3 points they did. They were on a roll. Dobbs was moving the team. He was moving them effectively, and they lit him up, which also affected him later in the game, in my opinion, because when you get lit up like that, it gives you hear footsteps.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. My pick, obviously, was the Bengals. That one did not cover. Some controversy there. All right, I will say that.
I stayed away from that game because I'm going to tell you why. This is another thing that I've been saying on this show. Inaccurate injury reports.
I mean, so I guess before the game, which we hadn't seen, we record these shows on Tuesdays.
Okay, let's that's important. I don't mean to cut you off. I used to put a line out on Monday night. That was the New York line. We use Don Best line, which is the sharpest line there is. Vegas uses them. Costa Rica uses them. Everybody uses them. The underground bookmakers use them, if you want to call them that. I don't want to say illegal because it's not illegal anymore. So maybe in some states it is. Whatever it is, gambling's here. It's here to stay, and it's legal. But Don Best is the sharpest line. We record this show Tuesday night. The reason why we do it Tuesday night, the line comes out Tuesday morning. It allows for the smart action, always bets first. So the moves that you see are that. It comes out on a Thursday, this show, because we have to edit, which goes back into people saying I wear the same shirt. I do that for editing purposes. So if I have to do a voiceover or the show, and sometimes we film interviews that are coming out. And one time you saw me in a red shirt, a blue shirt, and a black shirt in the same day. So it's for continuity, it's for branding, and also I like them. So you'll also see a red guy, you'll see a beige guy, you'll see a V-neck. Hard to see on me because a V-neck fits me like a crew neck fits me like a turtleneck. Some are long sleeve, some are short sleeve, some are cotton, and some is that fiber stuff.
Nylon?
No, not nylon. I don't think Ralph Lauren makes a nylon.
Listen, I was grasping.
So moving forward, the line we use is Don Best. That is the sharpest line. And the moves you hear are moved between Tuesday and Tuesday night. If there's sharp people on it, they're on it on Tuesday. My sharp guys would bet me on a Monday. And that historically is the same. Let's get back on track. The Bengals. Okay. We have not gotten accurate reports with Burrows since day one. Now, do I think the NFL is in a conspiracy who wins or who loses? I don't think they're telling us the whole truth. The referees, listen, you be your own judge there. There's been too many questionable calls for me. But in my handicapping, I told you that I don't care if it's choreographed or not. I'll figure out the common denominator to get that win that's important that you need. So even if it is, who cares as long as I'm on the side of winners and you are too. Would that make sense?
Absolutely.
We adapt, improvise, and overcome. Later in comments, I'll explain again why my expertise is necessary. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm 10-1 with my main picks. That's over 90-something%. Two, if you want to count the Eagles, which was a tough game, that was my secondary pick. I said it. But I stayed with one main pick. But I like the Eagles in every which way I leaned this week, including teasers. I'm going to get to that in comments. Stood up 100%. That is good odds. Okay, now we'll get into it in comments. I suggest you hang around for it because there's people that were pretty brutal, but I'm going to deal with it because we are here to learn, and I learned from you. I learned from everything. Okay. And my advice to you, when there's an injury report or there's a doubt, we're not getting accurate injury reports.
Yeah.
And NFL is the only sport that inherently has had an injury report. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, baseball and stuff, people go on the IL and things like that, but not like an every game injury report.
Well, that's because, and there was a comment about Jimmy the Greek, and I'll explain that too in comments. That is because, for one main reason, even though when gambling was illegal, it promoted the NFL and vice versa, and papers had the line. Why have the line on an illegal game? Isn't that being culpable? And an injury report supports that, so the odds makers can make an accurate line. Okay, let's continue.
Well, let me just explain the Burrow thing really quick too. So he comes off of the plane actually, and the Bengals accidentally got him in the back of a video that they posted on Instagram, and he had a little thing on his wrist. They quickly deleted it.
Yes.
Because they never put him on the injury report throughout the entire week.
Yes.
So, to everybody, he's healthy. He goes into the game, he looks all right.
A brace on your throwing arm is worse than a soft cast.
I mean, yeah, that's, ligaments and everything. He couldn't grip the ball. So
nerves.
He goes into the game.
Bones.
Corporeal. I don't even know what that is.
Corporeal. Muscle, flesh, corporeal. Help me. Go ahead.
So
you failed biology too?
No, I did. I was actually pretty good in science.
Right.
Math was my only thing.
Math is the language of science.
They quickly delete it. He goes into the game, gets hit, lands on his hand, shakes it out a little bit. Doesn't normally that's not anything crazy. Everybody lands wrong sometimes. Shakes it out.
Usually I land on my head.
Throws a touchdown pass and just doubles over in pain. Walks to the sideline, tries to throw a ball on the sideline, shakes his hand out, and then he goes up to throw another one, just immediately lets it go, doubles over in pain again. Not only out for the game now, he's out for the season. So he went from not being on the injury report, even though he's wearing a brace on his throwing hand,
one extreme to the other,
to out for the year.
Right.
And I mean, obviously that's, Chris, I would say that's a pretty important thing to know that the quarterback
is out. The game is not exciting for TV. Cincinnati's not exciting without Burrows in the eyes of the fans.
Yeah.
And two, everybody would bet against Cincinnati, and you see how it worked out. I think the game was tied. It's no excuse for your handicap, but what you got to learn is when there's an injury involved, when in doubt, get out.
Yeah.
And when you ask me why, there are certain things that I put into my factors that if I think it's out of our control, we should seriously reconsider.
So that was a story with the Bengals. We mentioned it on the show too. Commanders were big favorites against the Giants. Giants always play them tough. Ended up winning that game outright, 31-19. DeVito threw 3 touchdown passes. He was a practice squad player.
What was the score on that game?
31-19.
31-19. So that would actually be the only game, if you took the points with a 10-point teaser as a favorite, you would lose.
I think the Commanders were like 8-point favorites. So
it should be 2 points plus.
Yeah.
Okay. What did I say as a team I stay away from?
Giants.
Okay.
Obviously the Eagle and the Chief game, not as exciting as everybody thought it was going to be, especially me, but Eagles ended up coming out on top, which we talked about a little bit.
Well, it wasn't as big of a line, and teasers would have stood up both ways.
Yeah. That was
okay. I said I leaned and I liked.
That was week 11. That was week 11 for us. We'll get into week 12.
Okay.
You're all good?
What?
So we're all ready for week 12 then?
Week 12 is going to be an interesting week. There is not many teams that I had to cut away from the fact that I really like. I'm going to give you my pick, but it's not the surest pick I've ever picked. Go ahead.
Got a lot of games. Obviously, Thanksgiving is this week. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, obviously.
Happy Thanksgiving. Gobble, gobble.
Of course. First year ever that we're having a Black Friday game as well. So we'll get into it. Thursday, we kick it off on Thanksgiving. The early 12 o'clock game is the Packers at the Lions, traditional. Packers stuck at a 7.5-point favorite. Total went from 44.5 to 47.
Detroit is a 7.5 point.
Yes. That was no movement on the line, and the total went up 2.5. So
those teams play hard on Thanksgiving. Always have. Detroit, even when they didn't have it like they have now, played very hard. I think that's a game. You eat some turkey, you watch that game, you start picking at the skin or whatever you do before the food's on the table and enjoy the game. I think it'll be a good one.
I believe that the next game is the 49ers at the Seahawks. 49ers start off as a 4-point favorite, up to 6.5 now. That total went from 44 to 43.
Who are the 49ers playing?
They would be playing the Seahawks. Not your traditional Thanksgiving Day game.
No. I think it's one of the first times the 49ers are playing.
Yeah, I don't remember ever, growing up at least, I don't remember seeing either one.
I don't remember it either. And Seahawks, I never remember.
Yeah.
Seahawks are playing very, very good football. I think they got beat last week by...
they lost to the Rams by 1.
Yes.
17-16.
The 49ers, I believe, are a force to be reckoned with. They're one of the balanced teams. They got the most advanced offense, the most advanced defense, the most advanced special teams.
Great coach.
Their head coach in each of those areas. The Bartolo family does a very, very good job. It is a nationally or maybe even internationally now
known team.
Shown team on TV, yes. Yeah. Nobody wants to look silly, and Thanksgiving is a TV day, so the nation will be watching. Seahawks are going to come to play. 49ers are going to come to play for pride. I lean towards the 49ers. Not often on nationally televised games do I choose
The favorite.
the favorite.
Last game for Thanksgiving while you're digesting all your turkey. Commanders at the Cowboys. Cowboys started off as 9.5-point favorites. They're up to 11-point favorites. That total went from 45 to 48.5.
Well, inherently, that is a rivalry, has always been one.
Yeah.
Has always been one. I'm not picking it, but the Cowboys like to beat up on bad teams and just keep going. Not that they're bad. They're a full-blown offense. They like to push the envelope and push the offense as much as they can do. They like to keep the pressure on, score as much points as possible. They're designed to do that. Their offensive scheme is designed to make big plays. But in this particular case, I lean towards the underdog because it is a rivalry, and I think the Commanders have a decent team.
Yeah, I mean, 11 points is certainly a lot.
That is a lot. Matter of fact, I would actually lean towards them outright.
Yeah, I mean, go for the upset, baby.
Go for the upset, baby. I'm just telling you the way I see it.
First time ever, Chris. We got a Black Friday game.
That's right with me.
Amazon only. Dolphins at the Jets. Dolphins started off as 6-point favorites. They're now 10-point favorites. That game went from 42.5 down to 41. Obviously, the news in this as well. Zach Wilson, he's officially been benched. Tim Boyle is now the
I don't know if he's been benched or he would have been wearing a Dolphin uniform for this game.
I mean, the guy's just not good.
I'm not going to criticize him. You know, he's an NFL player. You know, he has the tools. I just don't think he adapted mentally for the game. I hoped he would develop. He showed spurts of things. I haven't seen enough of the new quarterback to know. Dolphins are another team that they have a full force offense. When it's in motion, it keeps going. The main thing is, can the offense for the Jets give their defense enough time to rest? Because that offensive line, your cornerbacks, your safeties are going full bore, especially against a team like
the Dolphins can
put up points. Their receivers can catch 50, 60-yard passes.
Fastest wide receiver in the NFL.
The fastest, right?
They might be
and you have a quarterback that can throw it running backwards.
They literally have a track team out there.
It's a division game.
Yep.
They inherently play each other tough, but we've saw when you leave the Jets defense on the field for too long, what'll happen. I don't know if this quarterback can do some things. The Jets have a good running game. They have decent receivers. Not the youngest guys in the league, but they have decent receivers. I think the key to that game and that 11 points is I believe the Dolphins are going to win the game.
Yeah.
It's a division game, which you play harder for. It's on national TV. The Jets, I don't know what they're playing for at this point. It might be for dignity and pride, and that might be the best thing. But too many points, in my opinion. But I haven't seen enough of this quarterback to see if he can at least keep the defense off the field to be able to make the magic and play with the intensity that they do.
Fair enough. We finally moved to Sunday. The Jaguars at the Texans. That game, the Jags stuck as a 1.5-point favorite there. That total went from 45 to 48.5.
What do you mean the Jags stuck? It
opened and stayed there.
That doesn't mean it stuck. That means there was no movement. Because it could be equal betting on both sides. That's a good game.
Yeah,
who's at home?
Texans, and they on the road earlier in the season they beat the.
How's their quarterback doing?
CJ Stroud walk away a unanimous rookie of the year into the MVP conversation if he keeps playing the way he is. I think he has like 18 touchdowns and like 5 interceptions or something of that nature. He's been unbelievable.
Really unbelievable. What about the Jaguars?
Jaguars good, division game, obviously.
Yes.
And important one here too, because if the Texans win, I believe they would be in first place because they would be 2-0 against the Jaguars and they would have the same record at the time. So I believe they would leapfrog them into first place. Not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure. So I know the Texans beat them earlier in the year, like 37-17.
Okay. Don Shula said, and he's one of the coaches I revere. I'm not saying he's as good as Belichick. I caught some fire for that. He said the hardest thing to do is beat the same team twice in a season. I'm going to watch that game. I'm going to enjoy that game. I don't think it's enough points to go for the underdog. And I don't think that the Texans are that much better than the Jaguars. It could be a blowout. I'm not saying it's not.
No, that should be a very good game. And if you asked people earlier in the year if you thought that this was going to be a must watch, the expectations of the Texans were not that high. So they've been unbelievable. We go to the Buccaneers at the Colts. The Colts start off as a 1-point favorite. They're now 2.5-point favorites. That total went from 41.5 to 43.5.
Okay. The Colts have got a solid team. I like them as a team. I like them a lot. I liked what they did this year. Everything I've seen. Buccaneers have been up, they've been down. There's nothing taken away from their defense.
Colts coming off a bye, too.
Colts coming off a bye. Well, that could help you or that could hurt you. It could put you out of rhythm. Colts are at home. Not big on favorites. That's not that big of a favorite. What is the points?
That would be 2.5.
And it opened up at what?
At 1.
At 1. So that means the sharper actions on the Colts. If I was fading or shading the line as a bookmaker, I would have moved that line early before the game came out. That's what I do. And that'll be part of my comments. I'm going to watch that game because if Baker Mayfield comes to play, he's as good at making things happen as anybody in the NFL. If he doesn't come and has an off day, it's tough.
It is bad.
I don't consider him a consistent quarterback, but a very good one when it happens.
Has his moments for sure. Patriots at the Giants. What an ugly game. Patriots opened as 5.5-point favorites. That went down to 3. The total went from 35 to 33.5. So not much scoring is expected in this one.
No. Bill Belichick can pull out miracles. I don't believe he has the horses he's used to. I don't even think he has the horses he'd like to.
A lot of talk that this is his last year with the team.
He'll be picked up by another team.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's what they're saying. He might. Commanders, believe it or not. The Chargers have been rumored a little bit. But a lot of talk that he's done with the Pats.
Well,
I'd love to see him as a coach of the Chargers.
I'd love to see him as a coach of the Commanders.
Fair enough. But
Chargers, good team.
Great roster. I mean, they just got
the Commanders are a young team.
Yeah, that's true as well. But Patriots Giants, what are we thinking here?
Patriots Giants. I'm going to watch that game. I'm going to enjoy it. If there's rumors of Belichick leaving, which I believe are true, I believe he's leaving because he wants to leave.
Yeah, I would say. Also, just as the Patriot fan in me, there's like a 10-part documentary coming out about the dynasty of the Patriots. Can't wait for that. Sometime early next year.
I'll be sitting right here waiting for it.
Panthers at the Titans. Titans started off as 4.5-point favorites. They're now 3.5-point favorites. That total went from 38.5 to 37.
Somebody said last week I thought the Titans was a great team. I said it was one of the teams I looked at against the spread early.
Yeah,
there were some situations, and they were pretty good against the spread. Last week, I don't know what happened, but I wasn't interested in them. But if people want me to talk woulda, shoulda, coulda, we can't be Monday morning quarterbacks. We have the best of it going in. There might be a winner in that game.
Yeah, I mean, if you're watching that game, you're either a fan of the team or you're just bored.
Or you bet it.
That is also very true. Steelers at the Bengals.
I don't know who would bet that game.
Which one? This one?
No, the Panthers and the Titans.
Yeah, no, I seek help maybe. Bengals opened up as 5.5-point favorites. Then we obviously
Against who?
against the Steelers. Then we got the news of Burrow being out for the year, and the Steelers are now 1-point favorites.
There's a little more to that Steeler game.
Yeah. And also the total went from 41.5 all the way down to 34.5. So also, like you said, news with the Steelers.
The news from the Steelers is they got rid of their offensive coordinator.
Matt Canada.
Inherently, the Steelers never fire anybody.
First time that they have fired a coordinator or head coach in season since 1941.
See stats. That is going to be my pick this week. I'm going to tell you why. The Steelers want to win, and they're telling you who's been holding them back from it. I think they want to play more aggressive football. They're good at it. They can take chances that other teams really shouldn't have to take because the defense is decent and it is aggressive. And they are always have been a defensive town.
Absolutely.
Quarterback's coming into his own. I know you're not a fan of Pickett.
Kenny Pickett,
yeah. I like him. And I think they're going to let him be more aggressive. I think these is one of the things where the human element comes in that I look for that will rally the team to play. Sometimes when you lose a coordinator or a coach, it rallies a team not to play. In this case, I think this team wants to win. It wants to be more aggressive. I think it's seeing things in its offensive coordinator that's holding them back. They are professionals. And like I said with the Vikings, and Dobbs was a good fit. That's a team that wants to play wide open. You watch them fake the punt.
Yeah.
You watch them take chances. I think Pickett wants to be that guy. I think Pittsburgh wants them to be that guy. And I think that they know that they need to make big plays to win, to get their defense off the field long enough to come back. I am saying it. And the reason why I usually don't like to say Pittsburgh, because I, as a child, I was a Pittsburgh fan. Terry Bradshaw, John Stallworth, Lynn Swan, Jack Ham, Jack Lambert, Roy Girella, my all-time favorite football player of all time, Rocky Blyer. He was on the practice team. He was on the team, but he didn't get to suit up and play in practice. Went to Vietnam, had his legs blown off, rewired. They thought he'd never walk again. A hero. Came back and won 2 Super Bowls with him. And a lot of what Franco Harris did, he blocked for. And a lot of to help Terry Bradshaw, he blocked for. I hail him. My favorite player of all time. I like when they tell you can't, you're too short, you're too whatever. He did it.
We go to the Saints at the Falcons. That one has been a pick'em from the very beginning, and it still is. Total went from 40.5 to 42.
Saints and Falcons, from a handicapper's point of view, I can't get a handle on. They have not been consistent enough in anything to predict, number one. Number two, at times I can't figure out what's motivating them. It's been a rocky road. I like both the teams, and I think they're good teams. I just think that they can't get their ground, to get their feet on the ground, to get their meat into the ball. I think that they can't get that 11 inches where that game is won under control. And on top of it, their special teams has been iffy.
Yeah.
Both.
All right. We go to the Rams at the Cardinals. Rams opened up as a 2-point favorite. It's now a pick'em game. Total went from 46 to 44.5. I believe the thing with the Rams, too, is that Cooper Kupp, their star wide receiver, I think he hurt a hamstring in the game. I remember him being hurt, so I'm not sure if he's going to be active for this game. Obviously, that would be
questionable.
I do believe so. So I know he got hurt on Sunday. Don't know if
I like the Cardinals. I picked them earlier. I picked the Browns also.
Yeah.
The Browns are kind of like a Cinderella team because if you say the Chiefs, you say the Bills, you say the 49ers, you say the Eagles. I told you the Texans were going to be in contention this year. You thought I was crazy when I said the Jaguars.
I like the Jags.
Not early in the year, you didn't. Not this summer when we were sitting at the other office. And when I say office, I don't mean sports office. I mean funding and financing. Because Anthony's a lean, mean
funding machine.
Okay. All right. What do you like in that game?
I'd stay away. I'm watching it. Watch Kyler Murray run around, do his thing, but I don't know. I can't. That's the third game back for Kyler. Rams have been up and down. Only thing with this game, Kyler Murray is awful historically, like throughout his career against the Rams, like very bad against them. So
I lean towards the Rams. The money's going the opposite way. I lean towards the Rams. I like the way their head coach coaches. I think he's aggressive. I think the team responds to him. I think they want to win. I think they've caught some bad knocks. It's tough for me to go against the Cardinals as a dog, but they're not a big dog here.
No, pick them.
Not a dog at all.
No,
but who's home?
Cardinals. So
they're supposed to be -3.
Yeah.
So if they're picking, they're giving 3 to them.
All right, the Browns at the Broncos. This game actually opened up with the Browns being a 3-point favorite. The Broncos are 2.5-point favorites.
Well, there was an injury, wasn't there?
Deshaun Watson, I believe last week, around, I don't know, was it like Wednesday or something like that? He ended up needing surgery. He's out for the season now. Obviously their quarterback. So now I believe it's Dorian Thompson or something of that nature. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. Had a great preseason. Looked unbelievable in the preseason. Came in one game.
Preseason is not real football.
No, not even a little bit. Had a great preseason. Came in for one game where Watson got hurt. Didn't play very well. Watson came back. Now Watson's out again. So he's in.
Is Watson coming back?
No, he's done for the year.
There goes my Cinderella pick.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not. Let's see what this quarterback does. Usually, even if it's the team that I picked against that loses its quarterback and there's a change, I back off because that changes the whole offensive schematic of the game and what they're going to do. So that throws the coaches off from tapes. That's why this quarterback comes in. It throws off that they usually inherently do this. This is their play calling. It's all a new procedure that's put together.
Browns got some bad breaks this year. Quarterback out for the year, best running back out for the year,
Yes.
One of their best offensive linemen out for the year. And I mean, they have probably the best defense in the NFL. What a shame for them, obviously.
The best defense in the NFL.
All right, we go to a game that I expect to be exciting. The Bills at the Eagles. Eagles start off as 3.5-point favorites. They're now 3-point favorites. That total went from 47.5.
Who's favored in that game?
The Eagles.
Eagles 3
points. Total went from 47.5 to 48.5.
Who's the Eagles playing next week and who's the Bills playing next week?
Let's see. Let's go over to our handy dandy list. Eagles have the 49ers at home next week, and Buffalo's on a bye. Yeah.
That's a game that I'm going to enjoy watching. The 49ers have 2 tough teams in a row where the Bills get the rest. So they can play full bore.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Eagles obviously want to win this game, but that game next week against the 49ers
is gigantic.
Yeah, because that's the only team that they're really competing for the first overall seed, home field advantage throughout. So that's a big game.
I think that's a big advantage for the Bills.
If anything, I would lean towards an over in this game. I would expect it high scoring. Not my pick.
You make your decision. I put a lot of credence in the team who they're playing the following week.
Yeah.
When Allen comes to play and he's on, there's nobody in history that matches him.
No, he's unbelievable.
But if he gets disrupted,
that's another team fired their offensive coordinator last week. Then this week they ended up putting up 30 points against that, a very good Jets defense. And
a division game.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I said. If anything, not my pick, but if I was leaning anything, I would do the over 48.5. Eagles defense has been a little iffy in the past game, and the Eagles can score at any point that they want. So not my pick, but if I was leaning, that's what it would be.
No, I just had to get some air. You knocked the air out of me. All
right. Chiefs at the Raiders. Chiefs started off as 9.5-point favorites. They're now 9-point favorites. That total went from 45 to 43.
What the Raiders have shown me is they're playing old school or sandlot football. They are running the ball straight down the middle at you with their power back. And he's a tough one.
Josh Jacobs.
They're wearing down defenses with that back.
Yep.
And, he runs in the style of Larry Zonka, John Riggins. And, he weakens defensive lines. And they wear you down. And their defense seems to be playing better.
Yeah, I mean, they made that coaching change to Antonio Pierce a couple weeks ago. They went on the
and it's successful.
Yeah, they went on a 2-game winning streak. Obviously, they lost last week to the Dolphins, 34-13. But, they were playing much better ever since Antonio Pierce took over.
It's a little hot there, too, right?
Vegas, they play in a dome, though.
You still got to go from the cold to the hot, get in, get out. It affects you anatomically. So anyway, let's move forward. That'll be a very good game. Who's the Chiefs playing the following week?
The Chiefs the following week would be playing Green Bay in Green Bay.
And the frozen tundra.
On Sunday night.
In the frozen nationally televised game. That's going to be a tough game.
So do what you want on that one. And
it's
then
you do what you want on that one. People look at us to do. They're going 2 road trips in a row.
Yeah.
They didn't have a good experience last week.
No, lost to the Eagles.
They have a strong enough record that one of the two, if they dropped, would not hurt them.
No. I believe they're 7-3. So
right.
They're.
I don't know which one, but I'm thinking one of them. That's a lot for any team to do. Go ahead.
Sunday night football. The Ravens at the Chargers. Ravens opened and still are 3.5-point favorites. That total went from 44.5 to 47.
They give up 3 points to Chargers for being there, so it's really 6.5. The way the NFL and Vegas makes a line, I'm a little different on that.
This is my pick.
I'm going to give my opinion.
I'm with the Ravens minus 3.5 here. Lead the NFL in sacks, so I'm expecting them to get after Justin Herbert. Offense has been playing very, very well, and I like the Ravens in this one.
Why do you like the Ravens?
I like the fact that the defense can get after Justin Herbert. Obviously, disrupting the quarterback is very important, especially with the pass-heavy team that the Chargers are. They've had some trouble running the ball this season, and the Ravens' offense has been playing well. Chargers' defense, not very good. So
Baltimore Ravens are a solid football team. The Chargers are a good football team. I'm going to love watching this game. Good luck to both of them. And I'm going to enjoy the game.
All right.
These are one of those games that you don't have to bet on to enjoy.
That is true. Monday,
like the
Panthers and Titans.
That's an exciting one.
Can't wait. I'll be popcorn ready for it.
But what I do watch is the way they play, because it'll affect next week's picks.
That is true.
You don't know who's playing them or who they are playing.
Monday night, we wrap it up. The Bears at the Vikings. Vikings start off as 4-point favorites, down to 3.5, and that total went from 44 to 43.
That is one of the longest rivalries in football. One of the longest. That's from the Bud Grant, Vince Lombardi, George Halas years. They played down and dirty football against each other. Bears, when they come to play, which we know they can, and they get emotionally riled up, they could play. I like the Vikings with Dobbs this year. I think that's going to be, what's the points?
3.5.
That could be a field goal either way.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it as an odds maker making the line. That hook could kill you. Not saying it's going to, but that's what the hook's there for. They don't want to push.
What are you thinking? Staying away?
Staying away. I gave him my pick. That's where I would put my money. If that's where I would put it, maybe it's not so bad you put it. I mean, This is a week where I don't, and I will say it, there are weeks that I don't. This is a week I wouldn't bet. The best pick on the board to me is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, all
It's not a
right.
lot of points,
No.
and they're not playing a monster.
All right. That's that wraps up the week of the
I'd like
NFL.
you to stick around for comments.
Of course.
Anthony Conover coming along. At least I know that my second thing is to bet against him. No, only kidding. He was on the right side of the Cincinnati. If Burrows is not injured, even injured, it was tied. It was tied when he got knocked out. That game, that was a good pick.
I thought so.
Okay, and it wasn't your usual generic Kansas City, San Francisco 49, and Miami Dolphin, pick. This is Chris Colombo asking you to hit subscribe, leave the comments. You like us, give us a thumbs up. If you want to stick around, I'm going to leave for a second, but I'm going to come back with comments. You like that. I'm going to deal with mostly the ones that ask for information and the negative ones, but there's going to be a session of comments where I'm going to thank everybody individually for the nice things you have said. I don't know how true they are. I mean, I agree with you when you say them, but appreciate the confidence. Hit subscribe, give us a thumbs up, or keep sending what you want me to answer for you. I will do it to the best of my capability. Anthony. Welcome back to Taking Action. I'm Chris Colombo, Anthony Conover. This is the comment section of the show. Those that stuck around for it, hit subscribe. If you didn't already, probably want to hear your comments. Okay. At JONCARNES 7418. Okay. Wants player props. Okay. Player props became very, very popular. There was a box that Billy Walters, that he got credit for, he sold. They put the info in, and because there were so many player props, what it did, when the odds were wrong, and there were so many of them, he took the edge. And if a player props it up, you took 5, you could hit 1, you could hit big ones. That's when some of these parlays started standing up with the player props in it. That day has come and gone. Those of you think I'm not up to date with what I'm talking about, trust me, I have. Player props are a different thing to pick. I like them. I think that to enjoy the game, put a couple of dollars on a big underdog or your favorite player or touchdown or whatever you like. Since that box has been eliminated, they had a run. It lasted almost a full season. They broke the bookmakers back, and that has been a tough, because Vegas then changed, and Don Best adjusted. They improvised, adapted, overcame, because people weren't paying attention to the lines, and whatever system they were using to make them were not accurate. Like I said, the smart people is about the line. If I see one, it's not my main focus. Maybe we'll concentrate for the playoffs, the Super Bowls, the bowl games. Yes. When it narrows down, right now, my obligation, and I said I would get you one pick a week. I did better than that, which overcame when I did multiple. The first 3 weeks the line is not tight like it should be. So the first week I went 4-4. The second week I think I was 5-6.
Yeah, I'd have to go back.
Third week I did very good, but my one pick each week did stand up, except 1 week. I had 2 this week, but I gave my main pick, the Eagles. I said was, I leaned through, got to watch the game, but I am 10-1. That puts me over 95%, doesn't it?
You're asking the guy who's bad at algebra.
But
it's over 90%.
Statistics. You're supposed to be the best stats man in the business.
That is true.
Oh, you're killing me today. Okay. There was other things mentioning that, and I'd like to get to those, but I will try to help you on props. I'm not the best first guy. What I don't know, I will not try to know. Thank you for your comment. That is a very smart comment.
Cool little thing with player prop. Christian McCaffrey scored a touchdown in like 16 straight games. If you had rolled over the money you won in all those games, it would have been like $1 million+.
Yeah, well, I got killed in one Super Bowl with a playing prop when it was first touchdown. I think it was
First touchdown score?
Yeah, no, to Gronkowski. And then it was multiple touchdowns.
Player props are difficult.
And then first touchdown from Brady to Gronkowski. And the Gronk to me. But it was nice to see Brady and Gronk back together. That was what you call a bittersweet loss. If there's such a thing. Okay, this is at HEAVY FND75 Defined Teasers. Okay, a teaser is inherently where you pick two teams and you get to have 6 points added or taken away from those two teams. You lay 6 to 5 inherently. That is 120 to 100, not 110. But pushes usually lose. That's called a sweetheart teaser. There's ones where pushes don't lose and push. I invented the sweetheart teaser. That is still effective today. The ones where you add, you subtract, you take the money to this. I don't know who can calculate it, but welcome to my nightmare. 3 teams is 10 points. Okay? That's where if you have, let's say like the 49ers were, 12 points?
Yeah, something.
Okay,
outrageous.
so if you laid with the 49ers, you'd lay 2. If you took with the team, it was 12, you're plus 22. I said it was a teaser week. Inherently, teasers are one of the biggest earners, reverses, and parlays, except in baseball, or 2 dogs in a parlay can destroy a bookmaker. Inherently, you throw them in a box, but there's weeks that are teaser weeks. I felt the sting of it so much, I can smell them coming. And I think 98% of the teams fell on the teasers. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think it was a big teaser week, and then obviously a few weeks ago we had that 1 week that was a big teaser week. That would
I went 9 for 10 in
Yeah,
teasers.
so
This week, I think it was 11 for 12, right?
yeah, something of that nature.
Right. Okay. Let's go to, at PFDRNEY8973. He says he taught me to drive and gamble. That is Yanni Russo. For those of you who don't know who Yanni Russo is, he was in The Godfather, right behind me. Yanni Russo played Carlo Rizzi. He was the guy that got strangled in the car by Clemenza, attacked by Sonny, and set up and almost overthrew the Corleone family. It was probably the most prolific bad guy in the greatest movie ever filmed. My father helped get him the role. I haven't had much contact with Yanni. Last time I saw him, I believe he was at the Rainbow Room. He's an accomplished singer. He dresses very nicely. I like Yanni. If you're watching, love to have you come on the show, explain to people how you taught me to drive and how to gamble. It's an interesting story. I'm with you on that, Yanni. The only thing is he taught me how to drive because one of us sits in the passenger seat, but Yanni usually gets strangled. And that's the way he went. Yanni, I hope things are going well for you. If you want, get in touch. We'd love to have you here with us at Taking Action.
Absolutely.
You did see The Godfather.
Of course.
You do know Yanni Russo.
I do.
Oh, this is a great one. Okay. Let's move on to the next. Do you have any things to say about those comments so far?
No, not yet.
Ricky, DENARDIS 8597. Okay. This is a very important comment. When do we tape this show? Okay. I used to put out a line when it was the New York line on a Monday, so you had the line, you could bet it for Monday Night Football, go over your figure. Wise guys hit it early. Why we shoot a tape or whatever you call shoot's a bad word already. Why we tape on a Tuesday or whatever, or podcast or stream or whatever the word is on a Tuesday is the line comes out by Don Best. That is the line we're giving you. That is the best line out there. It gives you Vegas's line, gives you their line, gives you the Island line. And once upon a time, it used to give you the New York line, which was the sharpest line in the NFL gaming. Okay, so that is an important question. So we used on best line and we give you his moves. Right now, he moves the best. His software is being used by legal bookmakers, illegal bookmakers, Las Vegas, New York, New Jersey, you name it. He is the king right now. Prior to him, it was Jim Feist, but Don Best, and that's who I used as my guide later on, you know. Okay. I hope that satisfies your answer. At IGORGOPSHTEIN 9754. Okay, need the game. Why are you laughing at me?
I'm just looking at your writing.
What?
I don't think you'd win a handwriting competition.
Well, listen, I'm not into handwriting, but let me tell you, if it was a bet, I'd write it perfectly. Now, okay, need to win. This is a very good question. You hear me say it. But there is an element in football, and there are certain teams that are spoilers. Yes. So when a team needs to win, either they want to be more money when they become a free agent. There's elements here. Coaches are losing their job. Either players like them or don't like them. Football is a very emotional sport with a foundation that goes back. Is some of it choreographed? I don't know. I look for it. Even if it is, I'll find ways for us to win. That's what I do. Okay? All right. So back when bookmaking was illegal, if it was choreographed, you'd want the bookmakers to be put out. So it made me a little sharper. So I do understand what I'm saying. So when you hear me say it, they need the game. When there is no tomorrow, you play. Unfortunately, the Super Bowl is not like the Stanley Cup. It's not like the championship of basketball. It's not like the World Series. It's not like the playoff games. It's one game. So that team gets up to play. When your season is on the line, if you want to win that game and give that extra yard, take that much more pain, hit that much harder, that is why football has become America's sport. So I think somewhere in there, reality does set in. I hope I explained that well for you. Also, why I'm reading this, and I'm just reading it that way, Achille Antonelli, who is our special effects guy, you see, we've gotten much better. He's very, very good at what he does. He grew up here in this house. I've been close with his family forever. He's going to put that up so you can see it and see who you are. This is just me. It doesn't have to be written well, so he has an idea when he goes into comments to do it.
That is the plan, at least.
That is the plan, because later on, he's going to become natural to do this. Okay. Okay, this one. Basically, at Polynesian SOB, we're totally unprepared and we're fat.
I wasn't expecting the last part.
What do you want me to say? All right. I don't know what that has to do with my handicap, and no, we are not totally unprepared. When I handicap, I cut away from the fat. Get it? All right. And I get right to the meat of what I think the best two teams are. And if I can't find one team, this is a week, I'm going with the Steelers because that's the only thing that fits my protocol. So as far as fat is where it's at. There's more of us for you to love.
Give great hugs.
Yeah. Actually, I'm all blown up. I have Lyme disease, which leads into the other part that I'm unprepared. I have neurological Lyme, which had 6 months to live in 98. Sometimes you see me hesitate or whatever. It's been a difficult road. I lost my brother to it. You'll see me hesitate, but it's not that I'm unprepared. I'm having a bad Lyme day. Okay, recently 3 strokes from it. But anyway, we fight back.
I just like a good piece of tiramisu.
His nan made tiramisu was off the hook. The whole financing office went crazy for it. As far as the fat stuff, beauty's in the eyes of the beholder. Me, you see the bloat. It's from prednisone, all kinds of other stuff they have me on. I'm going through a protocol. Anthony, we're going to get him on the treadmill. He's going to be a lean, mean what?
That'd be funding machine.
But to make fun of somebody like that, if that gives you pleasure, God bless you. Glad I can entertain you. What am I, a clown? Okay, next.
Fun.
That's red, silver, APO 76. NFL is entertainment. I don't care if it is or it ain't. One team's got to be a winner. If they're entertaining, I'm going to try and find you a winner in there somewhere. So it doesn't matter if it's fixed or it's not fixed. One team still has to win. There still has to be a point spread. Let's go get them. Thank you for that comment. Okay. This one is ISTALLSOOP. I believe that's N23BN. Chris is 9-1. This is now 10-1. Thank you for going back and figuring it out. If you want to count the teams I lean towards, I don't think I'm at 95 and 96% like my pick. Okay. There are other things saying that the game, we got more on the back, so I don't want to go into it. But I thank you for going at me on now 10-1. There were some weeks I don't want to count that maybe it was like this week. The one was hard. This is not my strongest week or my strongest pick because teams play different variables, different reasons, different everything. I don't control the scheduling. I don't control the weather. I don't control the destination. All I do is try to put your money on the best way it is. Thank you for saying that I'm 9-1 and researching it. Okay. Because when I say it, it sounds like I'm bragging. Okay. And I don't want to jinx myself. Okay, this is a very good one. Achille, make sure it's at GOMED9860. How do I know I'm not working for the books? That is the first good thing of a handicapper because you don't rule anything out. And sometimes even if this is that accurate, being 180 degrees here sounds crazy, may center you somewhere else. I'm not working for the books because being 10 or 11-1, if everybody that bets the what is it, 45 million people betting $12 billion, I think is the figure. It's actually gone up, but that's the projected for this season. If we would put the bookmakers out of business if they just bet with me. Okay. On to the next, but thank you for doing that. That's the way as a person you should think. Don't rule nothing out unless when in doubt, it's wrong. But that's a good way to think. Okay, this is at THRONCICH7. Jimmy the Greek. Jimmy the Greek became a sports enthusiast. Did he book? I don't know. He might have. But at the time, you didn't. It was illegal. He was one of the sports casters that was not afraid to talk about the line. You'd have, guys give a picks even without the line. They weren't doing well. But they didn't want you to endorse the line. So you'd have to have a sneak. Like who was famous for that was Alex Karras on Monday Night Football, Dan Dierdorf, who was the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys at that time? Dandy Don Meredith. They would sneak in a line there that you weren't allowed to talk about it. Jimmy the Greek was one of those people that talked about as a commentator the line for things, and it was a ballsy thing to do. Excuse the expression if there's women and children listening, but it was he had a intestinal fortitude because he lived, and he was one of the people that touted. I think he did move money in Vegas. I think he did bet. I think people did follow him. I think he did have sponsors. Whether somebody said to him, Jimmy, go bet this game for me, and he booked it himself, I don't know. He said something that and he got banned from commentating and he was chased. I don't agree with what he said. He went a little too far, but at one time he was hailed because he did have the chutzpah, the courage to call it what it was and use the line when he was breaking down who he wanted to win.
Pretty sure ESPN made a 30 for 30 about him. Like
what?
I think ESPN made a 30 for 30 about him. Like their documentaries. I think they made one about him. I'm pretty sure I've seen it before. So
he said a stupid thing. Do I think he meant it? It doesn't matter. People listening. Well, I'm going to tell you something about podcasts. There's a lot of people saying a lot of stupid things with a lot of no knowledge. But what do you expect from an informant or a guy that sold to sell? So got a choice out there to be Judas or Christ. Pick Christ every time. That 30 pieces of silver is carried on. Moving forward. Okay. Last one.
This is the one.
Jimmy at Jimmy's place. That's a 3. I don't know what it is. Okay. Let me help you with something. And I really want it. I really do. First of all, if you're perceptive and that's what you need to be a handicapper, you want to depict me, the name Colombo is one of the most branded names in history. A. B. It's all over this podcast. C. You spelt it wrong in the comments. So there may be nothing I could say to satisfy your delusion. If you think the game passed me by, can I tell you, 10-1, baby. If you think betting multiple games, they don't give away 30 points on 3 teams or 12 points on 2 teams because betting more than one game is not the advantage. Would you agree?
Yeah, betting multiple games is very difficult.
Right. Okay. And I managed into the 4th week of the season betting multiple games to be about 87%. Unheard of. Anytime that you think that you're smart, it's guys like you that make guys like me rich. Jimmy, what I hope is you hit Mega Millions. Let me know. I'll take your action. If you're that smart, put your picks right up there against mine, and let's see how you do. We're just 2 fat guys.
This is true.
It's true. But we pick winners. Jimmy, let's see what you pick. Okay? I'm going to wrap up this comment. The next segment, I do it in one after that. I've been saving the very kind ones. I thank you for that. I don't know if we deserve it, but I'm glad that you're learning something. That's what the idea of this is. And I will bring you along a little better each time. Doing the best I can. Not every week's the same. I can't force a winner, or I can't force a team to win or lose. All I can make sure is you have the best of it. And remember, when I say I lean towards, I'm one of the bookmakers. If the closer your opening line is to the closing line, the more successful in bookmaking you'd be. And when you see that and know that it's based on the line from the guy that invented bookmaking, invented the half sheet, taught me and groomed me right up to the person I'm friendly with that right now controls legalized gambling as far as the system. Now, there are approximately 6,000 viewers watching this show, listening to me. When I was taking action, which I do no longer do, I was watching minimum in a session 7,500 people putting in multiple plays. You add up 75 people, even if they bet 100 a game, betting multiple games. And I looked at it, and the only defense I had was to move that line. The only thing that went through my cracks was a smart handicapper. These are the guys that beat me at the end of the year in and year out, would pick 1 or 2 or maybe no games. Because when it starts moving and going, that's the guys that fell in the cracks. Those are the guys that won. I don't care what the odds of old football, new football, dynamic football. You're a victim of marketing. It's like a casino. The longer time you spend, that's why the longer you play, or the more you play, the less shots you have to win. That's why they go by hours in a casino, an average bet. Okay? Keep your gambling. You will lose your money. Or do you think they give away the food, the beverage, the shows, the rooms, and everything else because they're losing money? Somebody's paying that electric bill, buddy, and it's a lot. Okay. Secondly, the most important, and listen to this again. Why would their biggest money earner be teasers and parlays? Teasers, they're giving you 30 points on 3 teams, 12 points on 2 teams. They should lose every week if that was the case, and they don't. But there are weeks the bookmakers get their heads kicked in, but it makes up for it. So whatever conversations people have or what they think, I don't think I'm the best. I believe I am the most successful because I was happy with what I did. But I'm here to help you if you want to be helped. I want to pick on this guy. I mean, why? But that ain't going to help you get a winner, and that ain't going to overcome the losers you pick. Open your mind, be reasonable, let's become better people. God bless. Chris Colombo, Anthony Conover. Also, not only do I hail as one of the best stats man, but as one of the nicest people I ever met.
Oh, thanks.
Okay? So let's move forward. Fat is where it's at. More of us to love, more of us to pick on. Oh, as far as the shirt, People said I wear the same shirt. Did I cover this yet?
Yeah, we
All
talked
right.
about it earlier.
All right. I'm starting to get tired. The line's kicking in. All right. Thank you. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Keep the comments coming in. Jimmy, let's see what you're made of. Put your money where your mouth is, pal.